pillows and cushions, you can do, because we're going to do a bit of relaxation as well. So pillows and cushions can always come in handy, but you don't necessarily need them for this practice. So either in the middle of the mat, or if you're just practicing on the carpet, just so that you've got enough space kind of around where you're sitting. And then you're going to grab the flesh of the sitting bones and see if you can just kind of pull the flesh up, so the flesh part of the bum, so that when you're sitting down, the bony part of the pelvis is knocking onto the ground. And then whichever leg's crossed over, automatically you're going to change the leg to the opposite leg. If you can place one foot into the opposite groin area. If you can't, then just find a comfortable seated position with the legs crossed, or you can even have the legs out in front. And as always, before we start yoga practice, we're going to start in stillness. So you're going to drop the hands to the knees, the palms face down, and then just gently close the eyes. So just start to check in with what's happening for you today as you bring your body, your mind, and your heart to the mat and to the practice. Just notice what's coming up for you right now, what energy you bring into the practice today. Any weather patterns in the mind, whether we're replaying old situations, whether we're looking forward into the future. Just start to notice what's happening in your mind and start to bring the awareness instead of the mind, start to bring it into the body. So we're literally just sitting here in stillness and silence, bringing your awareness to the body, the sensations on the skin, the natural rate of the heartbeat, the breath in and out through the nose or the mouth. And seeing if sitting upright, you can just sit a little bit taller with the spine. Make sure you've got a nice space in between the chin and the chest. Dropping the shoulders away from the ears. And then I'm going to invite you here to set an intention for the class. So we've got 1 hour this evening, especially as life starts to get a little bit more busy and hectic again. 1 hour to just spend with yourself in stillness with the breath and the poses. So setting yourself an intention of something that you want to work on in the practice, or maybe a negative emotion or sensation that you want to let go of by moving the energy through the body so that we can release it. Option to dedicate the practice to somebody else that needs a little bit of extra love and kindness. And then starting to connect in with the breath. See if you can keep the eyes open so the awareness stays inwards. You're going to lengthen the inhale in through the nose and out through the mouth. In through the nose, and see if you can send that belly, the breath to the bottom of the belly, not just the throat or the chest. And then exhale through the mouth. So a nice continuous breath. We inhale through the nose. Then when you get to the top, slowly exhale through the mouth. Keeping the eyes closed. If the mind starts to wander, just bring it back to this continuous breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth, in through the nose, out through the mouth. And as any thoughts pop up, just acknowledge that they will do, but just bring your attention back to the breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And then on the next one, we're going to hold. You're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. And then at the top of the breath, we're going to hold the breath. Feel the chest and the stomach start to contract, keeping that oxygen in the body. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Keep that breath held in. Sending oxygen to every part of the body on a deeply cellular level. Turning the body into the parasympathetic nervous system so that we can be in rest and restore. And then exhale, release through the mouth. And again, inhale through the nose. Hold at the top. And if you feel as if you can't take any more breath in through the nose, just take one more little sip of air through the nose. Hold that breath at the top. Drop the shoulders. Make sure the arms are nice and soft. Focus on the point in between the eyebrows if the mind starts to wander. As you keep that breath held in, oxygenizing the body. And then open the mouth and just let it go. One last one. Take a deep breath in. Really take a deep breath in all the way down to the belly, taking as much oxygen as you can, and then hold at the top. Start to contract the muscles around the ribs, the chest, feel nice and strong. Keep that breath held in. And exhale, release. Gently blink the eyes open. And then on the next inhale, you're going to straighten that right arm up towards the sky. The left hand just going to place onto the ground. Try not to lean too much on the left hand. We want the right arm pulling up towards the sky. So we're starting to get a nice stretch down the right side of the body. And then nice and simple, we're just going to look up to the right arm and then start to draw some circles with that right arm. So you can even kind of point your right finger Just take small circles. So depending on what you've got going on in the side of the body or the shoulder, you might want to take big circles here to get a nice stretch, or maybe just small ones. If it doesn't feel right to look at the right hand, you can look down to the left hand, making sure the spine's nice and long, so really reaching up towards the sky with that right arm, and then bringing the right arm to stillness. On the inhale, you're going to reach up with the right arm, and then on the exhale, let's melt that right arm over to the left, so the left arm can go away from the body, but seeing if we can keep the chest facing forward. So we want a nice long spine. You want to imagine you're kind of trying to show that armpit to the person in front of you, not something you would normally think of doing, but so that the arm doesn't come in front of the face. We want the arm reaching up towards the sky with a nice space between the head and the right arm. And then you're going to look down towards the left hand. On the next inhale, and you're going to reach that right arm a little bit further. And then on the exhale, just feel that stretch in the right side of the body, letting go of any tension. One more deep breath in. And deep breath out. And then on the next inhale, you're going to let that right arm fall in front of you. And then with both hands, just kind of tiptoe the hands around in front of you, coming all the way around to the right. And then the right arm is going to be to the right of the body, and the left arm is going to go up towards the sky on an inhale. And again, just starting to draw some circles. So even small circles will just start to fire up the muscles around the shoulder blade here, and especially the side of the body, the part of the body that don't really stretch much. You're quite sedentary, either sitting or even laying down in bed. So just starting to really see if you can take big circles with that arm so that you can feel the side of the body starting to interact. And then when you're ready, bring the left arm to stillness. On the inhale, we reach up towards the sky nice and long, feel that stretch in the right side of the body. And then on the exhale, we reach over. So inhale, reach, exhale, stretch. Close down the eyes if you can. If you're just going to gently take your gaze towards the right hand, so the neck's nice and neutral. Hold here for 2 deep breaths. Inhale and reach that left arm a little bit further, creating more space with the breath. So if we breathe in as we stretch, we're sending oxygen to the side of the body, which is being stretched. And then on the exhale, you're going to drop that left arm in front of the body. And again, just walk the hands in front of you, and then gently walk the hands back to meet the body. And then the hands are going to come to the knees, and we're going to start to do some spinal circles. So with the legs, with the legs across, let's just change the feet so that we make sure that we're not affecting the circulation of the feet. Or if you need to do this, you can have the knees bent with the feet into the mat or the legs in front of you. And you're going to place the hands on the knees, and you're going to see if you can let the legs be completely heavy. And with the spine, you're going to take the spine all the way over to the left on the inhale. And then on the right, on the exhale, you're going to take it to the right. So inhale, we go left. Exhale, we go right. So we move with the breath. On the inhale, we go left like a wave. And then on the exhale, we go right. Inhale, left. Notice if you're doing this a little bit rigid. So I know I do in this pose because I've got a bit of tension in the side of the body. See if you can kind of make it like a flowy movement. So inhaling left and then exhale right. Bringing the shoulders in as well if you want to. You can kind of lift the shoulders up as you go from left to right. And if this is a pose you've not done before, just noticing if your ego is starting to come into play here. You don't need to listen to the ego and any thoughts that would be like a bit stupid. One, you're on Zoom, so nobody can see you anyway. And 2, that's where the benefit to the movements are, where we move without the ego. So just let the body flow from left to right, really using the breath. And then when you're ready, after the next exhale onto the right, you're going to bring the spine back to center. And we're going to take it into circles. So again, hands on the knees towards the ground. So we're creating that grounding energy. You're going to take the spine all the way to the left as if kind of the belly button is leading it. And then you're going to take the spine forward with the chest, and then to the right and then back. So take it nice and slow. Inhale forward to the right, and then exhale, finish that big circle. Again, shoulders can come in here, so you can lead the movement with the shoulders, but making sure that the stomach's also leading with the movement as well. And again, this might bring up some strange sensations in the body as you start to interact with all the little muscles in the spine and the vertebrae. Just see if you can be a little bit curious and let the spine just kind of flow around in a nice big clockwise circle. Starting to notice if you've forgotten your breath. So it's quite easy when we're in the pose, we're in our analytical mind, thinking of what the body's doing. Seeing if you can let the breath move the pose. So inhale deeply as you flow around, and then exhale to finish the circle. And then when you're ready, gently bringing the spine back to neutral. And we're just going to go the opposite way, making sure that we release in both planes of motion. anti-clockwise and clockwise. So taking the spine all the way to the right this time, legs are nice and heavy, and then the chest comes forward and then round in the anti-clockwise way. And again, remembering to use the breath, so inhale in, exhale out. If you feel as if you've got any stiffness or you've got any injuries that you're maybe a little bit afraid of, see if you can just silently say to yourself in your mind, my body flows in the pose and I am safe. These affirmations will just let the body just relax into the pose and just feel the movement in a little bit more flow. A couple more big circles to see if you can take them nice and slow. Big circles. And then when you're ready, gently bringing the spine back to neutral. And then this time you're going to take your kind of body forward and back. And then just start to find a neutral place. So with the body obviously forward, the pelvis is tilted. Maybe take it too far back, the pelvis will tilt as well. See if you can find the neutral spot so that from the base of your spine to the top of the head is a nice straight line. Hands come to the knees, palms face down, drop the shoulders away from the ears. And for a second, just start to check in with what's happening in the body. If you can feel any changes in the energy yet, any sensations in the skin. And then when you're ready, gently blink the eyes open if they've closed. On the inhale, reach both arms up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, you're going to take them down either side of the body. So on the inhale, the arms go up. And then on the exhale, they come down. You're going to see if you can lead this movement with the arms. So the rest of the body stays still. And we inhale, reach up with the arms. And then exhale down. So challenge to keep that spine nice and straight. Inhale, reach up. Exhale down. One more. Inhale, reach up. Exhale down. And then gently releasing the legs in front of you. And then just making sure that the circulation's back in the legs. You start to slap the thighs, front and back of the thighs, bringing the blood flow back to the legs. And then again, lifting the flesh from the bum cheeks. The feet are going to come into the mat and take them about hip width distance. Or we've got a mat just a little bit less than that width distance. And then placing the hands behind you so that you can relax the weight of the body. You're just going to gently start to rock the knees from side to side. So you're kind of windstream away from the knees from side to side. And then we're going to look in the opposite way. So on the inhale, the knees are going to drop to the left and you're going to look over your right shoulder. And then on the exhale, you're going to come back to center. On the inhale, you take the knees to the right and look over your left shoulder. And then exhale back to center. So we're going to close our eyes and this is going to become a meditative pose for us. So with the eyes closed, take an inhale, knees to the left. Take the gaze over to the right shoulder, even though the eyes are closed. Just take the head that direction. And exhale back to center. Inhale, knees to the right. Head goes to the left. Exhale back to center. Inhale, knees left, right. Exhale back to center. So really big, deep belly breaths. Inhale. Knees to the right, look to the left. Exhale back to center. Inhale, left. With the knees, look to the right. Exhale back to center. And one more on the right side. Inhale, let the knees fall to the left, look to the left. Sorry, right, look to the left. Exhale back to center. And this time you're going to straighten both legs out in front of you. So we're going to try and create a perfect L shape of the body. So lifting the flesh from the sitting bone a bit kind of gone under so that the bony part of the pelvis is on the ground. And we're going to check in with the legs here. So hamstrings and calves are notoriously a really common place that we hold a lot of tension. So just see if you can straighten the legs. If you can't, then just straighten them as much as you can, but never cause any pain. Flexing the feet. You're going to see if you can create that L shape with your body. So from the feet down to the hips, and then a straight, nice spine. On the inhale, you're going to take your arms up towards the sky to extend that L shape a little bit more. And then we're going to do a forward fold. So if the feet are flexed, just kind of relax the ankles onto the ground so that the feet aren't too strenuous. And then you're going to see if you can fold at the hips. So keeping a nice straight spine, you're going to inhale, reach the arms towards the sky. And then on the exhale, you're going to fold over, but not bending the elbows or the spine. So folding over with a straight spine, and then your body will naturally get to the point where it can't go any further without bending into the back of the elbows or the arms. And then you're going to drop the arms to the top of the legs. If you've got a little cushion, you can grab that here and just place it on top of the thighs. And then just let the arms fall onto the shins or the knee. If you can't straighten the legs, then don't worry, but just see if you can get to a place where you can find a stretch at the back of the hamstrings. Closing down the eyes and tucking the chin towards the chest. And then we're going to see if we can create a little bit more stretch for the back of the hamstrings here. So on the inhale, you're going to straighten the spine as much as you can. With a straight spine, you should start to feel a bit of a deeper stretch in the back of the thighs, and then letting your heart almost magnetize towards the ground. So again, not worrying if you're doing this right, because wherever you're doing it now is exactly where your body should be. But just instead making sure that the spine is nice and straight, and you're just kind of surrendering the heart towards the earth, tucking the chin towards the chest so the neck is nice and relaxed. And then using the breath here, we're going to take a deep breath in through the nose. You're going to hold the breath at the top. Feel the body in stillness as you keep the breath held in. And then as you exhale out, just let that chest completely surrender. Let the upper back and the lower back just be very heavy. Continue with the breath at your own pace, taking deep inhalations and exhalations. And again, seeing if you can straighten the spine so that we're not just rounded from the top of the shoulders, but instead the straight spine from the lower back is also pushing over onto the top of the thighs, getting a little bit deeper stretch. And we've just got one more deep breath here, so take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Moving out of the pose on the inhale. On the inhale, walk the hands towards the hips. And then just starting to take the palm of the hands onto the thighs, bringing the blood flow back into the legs, down to the shins, ankles if you can reach them. And then this time you're going to bend the left knee. So left foot's going to come into the mat, and you're going to flex that right foot. Now seeing if you can straighten that right leg a little bit differently. Now we're only straightening one leg. You can take the left foot a little bit away from the right leg, and then you're going to hug that left knee in with the left arm. And then you're going to see if you can place the right hand on the right thigh, and just slide that right hand as close as you can towards the right hand. Option to stay there if that's enough for you. If you can grab the right toe, you can do, or just even simply with the left leg nice and straight. Option to take it a little bit further, you can take that left arm up towards the sky, and then just see if you can reach the left hand over towards the area of the right foot. So obviously not reaching the foot unless you're uber flexible, but just seeing if you can sit with whatever this brings up in the body. Close down the eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Breathing in so deep that your awareness is completely on the breath and nothing else. One last deep breath. And then on the exhale, gently using the hands to come back up. And then you're going to bend the right knee and then changing the leg, straightening the left leg. So again, bringing that right knee in towards the chest with the right arm. Straightening the left foot. Straightening the left leg. Flexing the foot, seeing if you can get a stretch in the back of the thigh. And then melting that left hand down the left thigh. Again, that might be enough for you. Just see if you can play with how straight you can get that leg to get a stretch in the back of the left thigh. Or option if you wanted to take that right arm up towards the sky, and this time the right arm is going to melt towards the direction of the left. Feeling that stretched on the right side of the body. Close down the eyes here and come 3 deep breaths at your own pace. So whatever you put into the breath work is exactly what you will get out. So the deeper you breathe, the more you will be sending oxygen to the deep cellular level of the body, sending healing and oxygen so that we can really find a place of rest and relaxation. And then after the next exhale out, gently using the hands and coming back up. Taking the hands behind you, straightening both legs this time. And then just starting to circle the ankles. Taking the wrists in front and starting to circle the wrists as well. And then when you're ready, you're going to release the knees to the side and then coming forward onto the hands, coming into tabletop position. Or whatever way you need to find tabletop position. So in tabletop, you don't necessarily need a mirror or anything to make sure that you're aligned, but just kind of use your own awareness. Check that your shoulders are directly above your wrists. You should have a little micro bend in the wrists, in the knuckles, just to protect the wrists. Hands should be about shoulder, exactly shoulder width distance. And then checking that the knees aren't too close or too far away from the wrist and the hands. We want a nice straight spine, so the knees are directly under the hips and the back is nice and straight. So it's almost like a tray if someone's going to sit on the back, on the upper back. And then looking in between the hands, we're going to start to activate the body here. So activating the body and the muscles before we come to relaxation will maximize the benefit that we get from moving any blocked energy around the body. So as we look in between the hands on the inhale in, I want you to push the floor away from you and start to feel the shoulders start to activate. The head should come a little bit further away from the ground. And at the same time as doing this, you're going to tuck the tailbone under. So making sure that if you've got a tailbone, you'd have an arch in the lower back. We're at the opposite of that this time. We're going to tuck the tailbone under so the lower back's nice and straight. Continuing to push into the ground as you continue to breathe in and out through the nose. And then on the next inhale, you're going to very gently step that left foot back. So left toes are going to come into the mat. And then you're just going to play with the weight of the body here. So take the weight of the body forward and the should come onto the tiptoes. And then back and push the heel back. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And just have a little play with this, with the breath. Inhale forward and back. You start to feel anything in the calves or the back of the thighs. You start to get a bit of a runner's stretch here for that left leg. Remembering that we're pushing into the mat with the hands so the shoulders are supported, and also really pushing into the mat as you forward back. And then when you're ready, option to keep that left leg nice and straight. And then you're just going to gently lift the right arm up towards the sky. So the left foot's back nice and straight, the right arm up towards the sky. So we're in a bit of a twist here. So the right knee and the top of the thigh, the shin and the back top of the foot are pushed into the mat, and the left hand really pushed into the mat. And then on the exhale, you're going to lower that right hand back down. And then gently bringing that left knee to the right knee, stepping back with the right foot. Again, taking this at your own pace, so it's more important that you connect them with the toes to keep up with what you're doing. And then gently bringing the weight forward with back of the breath, so you can move forward on the inhale, and then back on the exhale, straighten that right calf. Inhale, just start to feel. So everyone holds tension in different parts of the body, so just being curious what parts of the right calf or thigh, or the back of the thigh start to think up for you here. Pushing into the mat with them hands so that the chest is sunken. We want the chest and the face to be kind of pushed away from the ground. Pushing the hands, yeah. And then after the next exhale, pausing with that right leg back. So really pushing that right heel back, starting to engage the calf. And then option to stay there, or option on the inhale to straighten that left arm towards the sky and take a bit of a nice stretch. And a twist with the body, pushing into the hand with the right, the floor with the right hand. One deep breath. And then gently release. And then when you're ready, bringing both knees in, back into tabletop position. And then dropping over onto the right side of the hips, coming back onto the mat. And before we come down to the mat, we're just going to start to check in with any tension that we're holding in the top of the shoulders. So feet in front of the body and into the mat with a nice bend in the knee. And on the inhale, you're going to take your arms up towards the sky. See if you can really straighten the spine. And then on the exhale, we're going to cactus the arms down. Then we're going to do this with the breath. So on the inhale, we reach up. And then on the exhale, the elbows bend. And as if the elbows are being pulled down towards can't speak, between the side of the thighs. So inhale up. And then exhale, elbows to the side of the hips. And then this time we're going to twist. We're going to inhale up with the hands. And then on the exhale, the left hand's going to come in front of you in cactus and the right behind you. And just a nice little twist. You don't need to go too far. Inhale back up, and then on the exhale, right arm in front, left to left. Inhale up, twisting the body to the right. Inhale up, twisting to the left. And then gently bringing the hands either side of the body. Coming to sit, lay down on the mat, whatever way is best for you. If you want a bit more of a dynamic way of coming down to kind of work any fire in the belly this evening before we come to the relaxation, you're going to see if you can place the hands on the back of the knees. And then you're going to bring the weight of the body back, so much so that you do, not so much that you feel it's going to fall back, but enough that you can start to tiptoe the heels off the mat. And then you're going to lift your foot in line with the knee, so right foot and left foot coming into boat pose. And then option to release the hands in front of you so that the core is starting to fire up here. Really lift your heart towards the chest, your heart towards the skies if you're trying to shine your chest. And then option to very slowly start to lower the body down to the bench through the feet, the back and the neck all come to connect to the ground. So before we come towards the restorative poses, we're going to have a little mini Shavasana here. So in Shavasana, which is also known as corpse pose, we want the feet to be mat width distance with the toes pointing to opposite sides, away from each other. The hands are going to come to the floor with the palms face up, and you're going to walk the hands slightly away from the body. See if you can walk the shoulders away from the ears so you've got a nice straight spine. Close down the eyes and just enjoy some stillness before we move to the next pose. So before we react, before we rush to the next pose, before we act on impulse, training the body and the mind to just sit in that stillness of awareness. Letting the back of the body just completely surrender to the ground. Starting to notice the breath and deepen the breath in and out through the nose. Giving the body a chance to just surrender any negative energy that you've brought up with the poses so far. Feeling as if the energy is just kind of melting from the back of the body into the earth. As we start to release any blocked channels in the body, knowing that we can surrender any negative energy that we know is not ours to hold. Taking 2 more deep breaths at your own pace and really just let the body be completely still without anywhere to go, anything to do. And then when you're ready, very gently, keeping the eyes closed if you want to, or you can gently blink them open for your awareness for the next pose. You're going to step the feet in towards the bum, and then we're going to work our way into reverse pigeon. So if you've got full pigeon in your practice, feel free to come into that if you want to. But because this is an evening practice, we're going to do a more restorative reverse pigeon. So first of all, we're going to start by straightening that right leg towards the sky. And then we're just going to start to take some circles with that right ankle, changing up the blood flow in the right leg. And then you're going to take that right foot to the left knee. So the right knee is going to bend and you're going to take the right knee out towards the side. The right hand can come on the right knee. You're just going to bounce that right knee. Start to feel any sensations coming up in the left hip. And then gently releasing that right hand back down towards the ground. Then going to walk our left foot closer towards the bum. So closer towards us. And then lift the left heel off the ground so that your hands can come through and grasp the back of the left thigh. If you can't quite reach it, you can grab a belt or even a top or a jumper and loop it around the back of the left thigh so that the hands or a jumper or a belt are looped behind the back of the left thigh. Now, before we go into the pose, we're going to look at our left knee. I want you to make sure that your left knee is directly on top of your left hip. If your left knee is to the left or the right, see if as much as you can get that left knee directly above the hip so that when we're doing this pose, we're doing it with complete alignment in the spine. So hands to the back of the left knee, making sure that, the left thigh, making sure the back of the neck and the shoulders are completely on the mat. So we don't want any kind of lifting of the head or the neck in this pose. And with the eyes closed, before we go into pigeon pose, we're just going to acknowledge what this pose is. So it's a deep hip stretch. So it's a deep hip, It's a deep hip release where we can quite often hold unexpressed trauma, unexpressed emotions, or if you're an empath, possibly picking up energy from the people that you can store in the hips. So just acknowledging that you might put some resistance in this pose and just continuing to bring your attention back to the breath. So on the next deep breath in, feel the belly rise. And then on the exhale, you're going to bring that left leg a little bit closer towards the chest. So you'll start to feel the right leg starting to have a bit of a stretch here. You might start to feel the right hip starting to talk to you, starting to tell you, ooh, that feels a bit uncomfortable. But if you get any pain, then just gently take your way out of the pose and ease your way back in slowly. Otherwise, with every exhale, you're going to take that left leg a little bit closer towards the chest. The right elbow can come to the right thigh, and you can push that right thigh away from you so that you get even a more dynamic stretch. Remembering that you will come up with resistance, but it's the other side of that resistance where the magic is. So taking a deep breath in through the nose, keep the eyes closed. And then on the exhale, bring that left leg a little bit closer and start to create some space in the right hip, starting to release any of that negative tension that we're holding on to. Whether you know about it consciously or subconsciously, we all hold on to emotions if we don't move through them correctly and make sure that they're expressed and released. So with every breath in, fresh oxygen in the lungs, and with every breath out, That left knee is just being coaxed a little bit further towards the body. The right hip is feeling like it's a little bit restricted or a little bit still trying to stay tense. Just silently say to yourself in your mind a little affirmation which just says, my right hip completely surrenders to the pose. My right hip completely surrenders to the pose. Creating a little bit more space for 3 more breaths. So really using this chance to just pull that left leg as close as you can. The back is completely heavy into the mat. The body doesn't need to be tense at all. It can completely surrender to the air. Creating a little bit more space for 1 more breath. And then when you're ready, very slowly coming out of this pose on an inhale, you're going to release the left hands first of all. Let the left foot fall towards the ground. And for now, just pause with the right foot on the right knee. And you're going to place both hands on top of your right hip. Whether you've got injury or not, you're just going to bring your awareness to that right hip. Feeling any pulses under the palms of the hand as you push on the right hip, starting to feel the bony part of the hip. You'll be starting to bring your awareness to any muscles or ligaments in the right hip. Take a deep breath in. And on the deep breath out, release the hands and gently take that right foot towards the sky. And you're just going to start to circle the ankle again. And then starting to bend and straighten that right knee. Seeing if you can take the leg as straight as you can, stretching into the back of the hamstring, sending a lot of fresh blood to the thigh as we've started to open up into the hip. So we can now send the oxygen through that energy channels as it's nice and unblocked. And then gently placing that right foot down to meet the left. And for a second, let's just put our hands on our belly button. Let's close down the eyes and let's bring our awareness to the legs. So as if you've kind of got a torchlight internally, you're just scanning over the left and right leg. Start to notice any difference in the energy. Start to notice any difference in the colours that you visualise with the left and the right leg. My left leg, I can visualise quite grey because there's not much energy flowing through it. My right leg, more of an orangey colour. So just noticing what's coming up for you, any difference in the sensations. And then releasing the hands either side of the body, taking an inhale in and taking that left leg towards the sky, and then just starting to circle the left ankle. Again, noticing anything that's coming up in the left leg for you here. And then taking the left foot to meet the right knee. And again, starting to just bounce that right knee out. Just starting to notice how open the left hip is. And then when you're ready, walking that right foot towards the body. And then seeing if you can lift that right heel off the ground. So the right toes are into the mat. And then you can just gently pop the right foot off the mat, reaching back to meet the back of the right thigh. And again, checking in with the body. So we might have alignment issues on one knee compared to the other. Seeing if the right knee is on top of the right hip on a straight line. If it is, then just finding a place where you can grab the back of the right thigh. Left elbow can come into the left thigh. Making sure that the shoulders, the neck and the head are heavy. And then with the eyes closed, nice soft eyebrows and forehead, scalp, jaw. Relax every muscle in the face. Take a deep breath in. And then on the exhale, you're going to bring that leg a little bit closer towards the chest. So the hands behind the back of the right thigh, just gently guiding it in. And you might start to feel some resistance on this side that you didn't feel on the left. Try not to challenge any of the resistance, just observe it. Breathe through it and just start gently starting to bring that leg a little bit closer with every breath. So the deeper we breathe, the more we stimulate our parasympathetic nervous system. So taking a deep breath in for the count of 4 or 5 if you can. And then on the exhale, bringing the leg closer. Noticing anything in the left hip that comes up and seeing if you can just push past that resistance to a place of some space in the left hip. Some little jolt movements can be quite common in this pose. So just coming back to the breath if that happens. Also, if any emotions are arising for you now, that's completely normal in this pose as well. So just let them flow. Try not to repress anything that's coming up. Bringing that leg a little bit closer towards the chest. We're going to hold here for 3 more deep breaths. So really using these last breaths to create a lot more space in that left hip, releasing any tension in the left glute, the bum muscle, the inner thigh, the groin, the hip. One more breath to create more space. And then only when you're ready, you're going to release into the out of the pose with the hands from the leg. Let the right foot drop back down towards the air. And again, for now, just let the left foot stay on the right thigh. Placing both hands over the left that hip this time. Starting to notice any sensations in the left hip muscles, the left thigh. And then when you're ready, very gently straightening the left foot towards the sky, circling the left ankle, and then just having a little play with the bend of the straight of the leg, starting to bring that blood flow back into the left leg. And then very gently starting to release that left foot towards the ground. And then this is where we're going to start to bring in a cushion if you've got one. So cushion or a pillow. You can even grab a top and use that instead. So you're going to come over onto the right side of the body. And then you're going to use your hands to push yourself back up. So we're going back down towards the mat, but we just need some space to settle for the cushions. So cushion or pillow or blanket, whatever you've got. We're going to come into a supported heart pose. So you want to line a cushion, a bolster or a pillow so that when we lay back down on the mat, the back of the heart space, or even like kind of where the spine is going to be nice and supported. Making sure that you have got kind of something that's soft enough that you can really relax into. And then working your way back to the base of the spine is at the back of the cushion. If you've not got a cushion, that's fine. You don't necessarily need one, but it could just mean that the heart space is a little bit more supported and relax a little bit further. So with the feet, you've got options. You can straighten the legs out, or you can butterfly the feet. So in butterfly, the soles of the feet are going to come together, and the knees are going to be out either side of the body. If that doesn't work for your hips, you can even just cross the legs. So for me, I'm going to cross the legs, even when I'm working with a hip issue. But just finding somewhere for your legs before you come down to the mat, and then using the hands, you're going to gently walk yourself back so that when we come back towards the mat, the space in between the chest is going to be risen off the ground. So if you can, make sure that the head is supported. So either the head can be supported by the cushions, or if you want to put the cushion lengthways, then when you come back down, from the middle of the chest, almost as if where the back of the middle of the spine is supported off the earth. And then the head is just nice and relaxed into the ground. So having a play with this, I can never get the right level of cushions the first time. I just have to have a little play. So come into a place where the spine is completely surrendered to the earth, nice and long and relaxed. And then we're going to bring the hands in here as well. So depending how high your chest is off the ground, making sure that the neck and the head is nice and supported. You're going to take the arms up towards the sky, so in front of the face. And then on the exhale, you're going to bend the elbows. The elbows are going to come towards the ground. If you can take the hands in cactus, the hands are going to be in line with the face, and the back of the hands are going to fall into the mat. So as if you're doing cactus pose that we did before, with the palms face towards the sky, but the arms are nice and heavy into the mat. If that's not comfortable, you can't release the elbows, you can straighten the arms either side and just have them surrendered into the mat. A bend in the elbows will just bring a bit of a deeper stretch into the shoulders. We hold any tension there. Take any adjustments that you need to. If you don't feel comfortable or you feel in pain, take an adjustment so the body can surrender to the pose. And then when you're ready, just come back to a place of the eyes closed, the body in stillness, legs and arms in whatever way suits you in this pose. And then seeing if you can relax the forehead, the eyebrows, the cheekbones, the jaw. Option to place a small gap in between the teeth. And just relaxing the tongue. Now our bodies are completely supported here by the cushions, the mat, and also the air. So if you feel as if you've got some resistance to surrender, just start to repeat to yourself in your mind, I surrender to stillness, I surrender to the pose. I surrender to stillness. I surrender to the pose. And with the eyes closed, we're going to visualize the bright sun in the sky just shining down onto the body. Using your visualization to imagine this sun starting to fill the body with a warm orange bright light from the tips of the toes, and very slowly starting to feel that golden energy fill the body from all the way up the ankles to the knees, thighs, slowly working its way up the stomach, feeling the warmth quality rising up through the body, through to the chest and the throat, through to the jaw, the forehead. And then visualizing a bright golden light from the sun just covering the whole body from the top of the head to the tips of the toes. And letting the body surrender to the pose, making sure that you're connected to the breath through the nose and out through the nose. Noticing any sensations that come up in the front and the back of the heart space, to the middle and the back of the chest. Seeing if you can let the arms just surrender a little bit more. There's nothing for them to do. The body is completely supported by the earth. You don't need to use any muscles, just completely let the body be still. If your mind is wondering of what you need to do after this class, bring your awareness back to the body and how you feel right now in this moment. Knowing that what you're putting into this practice is preparing you for life when you step off the mat. Giving yourself permission to stop in stillness. Fill up the energy levels of the body and the mind and the heart. Just enjoying this pose for the last few moments. See if there's any part of the body that's still holding on to tension. See if you can just gently soothe it away with your breath. If the body feels as if it's gently easing its way into a relaxation in this pose, then I'm going to give you the option to stay here for relaxation. Otherwise, if you want to do a traditional corpse pose, you're going to release the hands to the side of the body. Gently bring the knees together, so either outer butterfly or from straight. And then you're going to use the hands to roll over onto the right side. Remove the cushion out of the way. And then coming down to a traditional Shavasana with a nice straight spine. Feet are going to be mat width distance. You can even take the feet a little bit wider so that the pelvis and groin can completely relax. Take the hands away from the body with the palms face towards the sky. And then take any adjustments you need. So whether you need a blanket, whether you need an eye pillow, or maybe a cushion under the back of the ankles or under the back of the wrists, can really create that feeling that you're kind of floating. And then settle into Shavasana pose with the eyes closed when you're ready. And again, giving yourself permission to relax into this pose. So when we move through yoga in our practice, not only are we physically removing any of the blockages of the energy that we hold from repressed emotions, or maybe just physical tension from any injuries or trauma, but the aim of the poses as well is to build up to this moment of Shavasana, where we can let the body be completely still and soak up all the rewards of the practice that you've just done. So bring in your awareness to the body, your focus, your attention. And we're going to set up for Shavasana with a pranayama exercise to really stimulate that relaxed sensation with the body. So keeping the body completely still, you're just going to take a deep breath in through the nose for the count of 4, 3, 2, 1. You're going to hold the breath at the top. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're then going to exhale, let the breath go for 4, 3, 2, 1. And at the end of the exhale, you're just going to pause in stillness, letting the breath just stay out of the body for a second. And then starting again with the box breath. So we inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath at the top, relax the shoulders, relax the jaw, keep that breath held in. And then exhale the breath out. At the end of your exhale, just pause the breath for a second. And inhaling deeply for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold the breath at the top. Feel that oxygen go into every part of the body, from the top of the head to the tips of the toes. And then exhale, just let that breath. At the end of the exhale, pause. And then one more round of this before we let go of the breath. So taking a deep breath in this time for as long as you can. So breathing in for 5 or 6. And then when you feel as if you can't fill the lungs anymore, you're going to hold the breath. Bring your awareness to the point in between the eyebrows and third eye. Keep that breath retained in and notice the sacred silence in the body. And then exhale, release. This time you're going to just completely let go of the breath, let the body take over. Instead, all you've got to do in Shavasana is to surrender. So whatever that brings up for you, the word surrender, just start to let the body be still. Let the body be heavy. Sit with any feelings of discomfort. If the body or the mind feels quite hectic this evening, you're still doing the practice. You lay in Shavasana, just bringing your awareness back to the body each time that monkey mind tries to distract you. Relaxing all the muscles of the face, the jaw, the forehead, the ears, the top of the scalp, the back of the neck. Relaxing any muscles in the back, the throat, front of the throat. Letting the shoulders be heavy into the mat. Letting the chest be heavy. Feeling the natural heartbeat in the chest. Letting all the muscles around the stomach and the belly button, all the internal organs, just completely relax and restore. Restore on a cellular level. Very deep healing as the body is completely still. Letting the left and right hip release any of the emotions that were brought up in our hip opening pose this evening. Feeling the back of the hip and the glutes relax into the ground. Feeling the weight of the left leg into the mat all the way down the back of the thigh, to the heel and the tips of the toes. The right leg down the back of the thigh to the heels and the tips of the toes. Noticing any sounds near or far. And just let them kind of wash over you like a wave as your body just continues to enjoy this stillness. As you let the body continue to enjoy Shavasana pose, just starting to reflect back on the intention that you set at the start of class. Starting to visualize that golden energy again, starting at the feet, the bright beam of the sun from the sky, starting to visualize the golden healing quality energy filling the body, from the toes to the ankles. Slowly at your own pace, using your visualization techniques to just imagine that gold energy starting to work its way up the body, filling up to the knees and the thigh, to the hips, through all the internal organs. To the chest, the throat, feeling that warm quality rise up the throat to the jaw, cheekbones, the eyebrows, the forehead. Letting the body just bathe in that bright light, healing energy. Knowing that any energy that you can feel in the body right now is exactly what you've created, nobody else. Knowing that only you knows truly what happens inside your body, your mind, and your heart. And just giving your body a chance to connect in with how you feel on an internal level, away from all the analytical mind, coming back to the basis of how you feel in your heart. Continuing to enjoy Shavasana as we just reflect on these words as we finish this evening's practice. My only wish is to make you see exactly the way I do, how everything is so wonderful. I just wish you could see the truth, all the little flaws so perfectly unique that make up this whole exquisite physique. The joy, the beauty, both inside and out, it's a marvelous thing. The world wouldn't be the same without. I wish you could see, I wish you knew that you are more than enough, that is an incredible being is you. Seeing if you can give yourself any self-compassion that you need to for anything that you're dealing with at the moment, or anything you're actively trying to change so that you can be more connected to the heart space and less to the analytical mind. And if you feel as if the body has entered a healing state here, where it needs to be nowhere else but where you are right now, then I'm going to give you the option to stay here to finish the practice. Or even better still, just pop straight to bed and have a nice relaxed sleep. If you want to finish the practice in traditional seated posture, then you're going to first of all just start to wiggle the fingers and toes. And then you're going to start to open the mouth, open the jaw as if you're taking a big yawn. And then just let that natural yawn just naturally flow out the body. And again, opening the jaw wide as if you're taking a yawn, and just feel the natural yawn come out of the mouth, releasing any of them toxins that we've just built up. And then rocking the head from side to side. Rolling over onto the left side of the body, the yin side of the body. Bringing the knees towards the chest, and then using the hands to push yourself back up to a seated position. Moving nice and slow, there's absolutely no rush. And then finding a comfortable seated position to finish the practice. Legs crossed is the traditional pose, but if this isn't available for you, you can have the legs out in front or feet into the mat with the knees bent. And then just starting to connect back in with the spine. So seeing if you can start to create that length in the spine again, sit nice and tall, finishing the practice nice, strong and tall and proud. And then dropping the shoulders away from the ears, hands are going to come to the knees, with the arms face down. Take the right finger on the chin and just push the chin in towards the spine, so that in case the head or the body is forward a little bit, we're just going to have a nice straight spine. And then place the right hand back down towards the knee. Keep the eyes closed, drop the shoulders away from the ears. Giving yourself some internal gratitude for giving an hour up this evening to connect back in with the heart space, practice stillness, and train our awareness to continue to be on the breath and not any analytical thoughts. Noticing the quality, the energy in the body that you just created by moving your body and connecting with the breath. That energy is always available for you whenever you need to. Connect back in with a deeper breath and move the body with a little bit more flow. And then any positive feelings that you've got in the body now, seeing if you can set yourself an intention to take that feeling off the mat into your evening, into your day tomorrow, into your week or into your month. Trying to challenge any of them fearful thoughts that anxiety can control us, and just reminding ourselves that the breath can always change the energy in the body. And then gently blinking the eyes open. On the inhale, you're going to sweep the hands up as if you're gathering energy either side of the body. The hands are going to clasp together at the top of prayer, and then on the exhale, you're going to bring them back down. So on the inhale, we're going to scoop that energy up that you just created. And then on the exhale, you're going to bring it down. One more inhale, reach up. And then on the exhale, coming down. This time, you're going to pause with the hands at prayer at the third eye. So with the thumb in between the eyebrows, I wish you a week with kind thoughts to yourself. Gently bringing the hands down towards the heart space. Sorry, go towards the mouth. I've skipped one. Choose Zen. Hands towards the mouth. May you always feel free to speak your truth. And then hands towards the heart. So wishing you stay in your heart space and move out of the analytical mind. Down into the practice and to each other. And as always, a massive grateful thank you from me for letting me lead you through the practice, especially during lockdown as life starts to ease. Namaste. Namaste. Thank you as always for joining.